So we just got back from a friend of mine's place where he started scrapping recently, and some of the stuff that he had, he thought I could use that was just too good to scrap. Like he had this bottle of gas here, it's 7525, I think, believe it's a 90 cubic foot bottle. And he thought there was gas in it, got the cap off of it, no, it's empty, but I'll still take it anyway because it is not a rental bottle, it's a purchase bottle. And I'd take it just for the cap because I'm missing some caps off my bottles anyway. But yeah, always nice to have another welding gas bottle laying around. And then we got this little horizontal bandsaw that the blade evidently was popping off or something. It could just be some adjustments, but maybe at some point in time we'll do a video on getting this thing tuned up and repaired and up to tip-top working condition. But the other thing we got is a big gun safe here, a Centurion that he knows for sure, absolutely 100%, it wasn't stolen or anything, and because he knows the people it came from, but they don't know the combination. But we've got a way of getting the combination for it, but at this point we're curious, is there even anything in it? And they bolt these things down. You can bolt them through here, so you should be able to get a camera in there, look up in there and see if there's anything in there. So I just happen to have a little inspection camera here. So let's see if it's powerful enough with a light to actually see if there's anything in there or not. And we need batteries.
And pause.
So now it is time to find out if this thing actually works and if it's worth putting any time into to clean it up and get it to where we need it to start using it. It's been sitting here long enough now that any water that may have gotten into the motor when it was raining on it ought to be dry by now, so we should be able to do something. Let's see. Well, no sparks yet. All right, so we know the motor's good. Seems to be tracking all right the way I had it. They said it kept kicking the blade off all the time, I guess. But so we'll have to try cutting some metal with it, see if it cuts it off. I'm gonna guess it's probably down to just adjustments. But one thing I did notice was this top here does kind of move around a bit. It seems like there's a little bit too much clearance within the slides here. We could probably shim that, but I'm going to say that was probably that way from the day it was made. So I'm guessing adjustments were probably all it's going to take to get this thing tracking right. Now last year I had bought this as part of a equipment purchase, and when I bought it, it had a metal blade on it. I wasn't even thinking about it when I bought it because it was, you know, part of the whole big purchase of a bunch of stuff at one time and out of a metal shop, and I just assumed without even looking at it that it would cut metal fine until I actually fired it up and tried to use it. This is in no way, shape, or form a metal bandsaw and is not usable for anything other than aluminum, brass, and copper because it spins, the feet per minute are way too fast. And we were thinking about potentially doing a whole video series on modifying this to turn it into a metal bandsaw unless I come up with another bandsaw to trade it for or something. But now that we've got the horizontal bandsaw, I will probably not be doing anything with this other than maybe trading it for something else or selling it outright. Because one nice thing about this thing here is not only is it a horizontal bandsaw, but we can flip it up and get the plate that goes here, turning it into a vertical bandsaw so you can just sit here and run through it. So we can do exhaust pipes, we can cut stainless pipes, whatever here. We can have a couple different teeth blades, some for working with stainless and other working with mild steel. I just got to now try cutting with it, seeing if anything's wore out and what else needs replaced or adjusted to get it working. And I got things like this, which is stuck. I think this thing's supposed to pop over to hold it so it doesn't fall down. And of course it was left out in the rain a little bit, so all this stuff's rusty. So we're gonna have to clean all that stuff up, get it into nice condition. So like I said before, this actually came from a friend of mine who's starting to do scrapping, and this was something he brought home while doing scrap runs. And it didn't cost him anything, and he ended up giving it to me. And what I'll end up doing is I'm going to be helping him putting an engine into his wife's car. So, you know, we do stuff like this, back and forth with each other. He helps me out, I help him out, and this is one of the things he helped me out with. So right now we're still on just the blade that was in it. It doesn't feel too bad, like it should work. I got a little piece of bar stock in here. And let's just see if it can cut something without kicking the blade off. I've already adjusted this so that it will actually hit there, and because that was bent up. I would call that a successful enough first cut to keep moving forward and get this thing into service for us. So now we know this thing is going to be a viable piece of equipment for us. It's time to start cleaning it up a little bit. Like this machine surface here, we want to get that cleaned up. So we'll get this fence out of the way here. And we'll start cleaning this stuff up. No, this stuff's on here real tight. I'm guessing whoever had it just never really adjusted things properly or didn't know what they were doing. My dad had one of these just like this that he had bought in the early 80s and used the crap out of it building race car parts. And I had a chance to get that, but it didn't cut worth a crap. It was just, it was half wore out. But I also realized, you know, after so many years of working in the metalworking industry and working in a shop, that part of the problem with his could have literally just been that it needed a new blade, because my dad did not exactly spend a lot of money upkeeping stuff like that, or say buying blades until they were done. But if you have a blade for a bandsaw that's got a few missing teeth, or it can dull in a way that it can cut very crooked and end up coming down and pushing out and giving a very crooked cut, and that can just be adjustment or just needing a new blade. So I'll have to order up some blades for this thing. That cut we did actually was really square. So yeah, I don't think this thing was actually used that much. I think the guy just didn't understand it. So we'll take this stuff and I'm going to get some wet dry sandpaper and some WD-40 on a block as soon as I find my blocks. And we'll sand all this stuff up, make this look all nice along with these. That way everything will move like it's supposed to and hold like it's supposed to, do everything it's supposed to do. And using WD-40 on this will leave a bit of a protective finish over this to keep it from rusting right back up. That's one of the old tricks that a lot of like wood shops and stuff use. Like we used to do at school at the end of the year, wipe everything down with WD-40 because it would leave a protective film on it to keep it from rusting with just humidity and air. And that is a problem where I live, humidity in the summertime. So after looking around a little bit, I found this block sander. And now you can use anything you want. This just happens to be what I was able to find at the moment. You can use one of the auto body sander blocks, the old school ones that are like $6 anywhere at any of the part stores. Heck, you could even use a heavy paint stirring stick to wrap the paper around. It all works pretty well. I've got some 400 grit wet dry, and WD-40. I don't use WD-40 that much actually around the shop, but this is one of the things that is good, a good use for that, and I believe. So now we can just so it's cleaning right up. And you could probably go a little coarser than 400 grit if you wanted to, or even finer. This is, I just happen to have this in the cabinet, so I thought that'll work. And we can take this as far as we want to take it, to get it as cleaned up as we want to get it. And we'll do the same thing to all the faces of the clamps and then reassemble. So now we're going to start cleaning up the rest of this thing. I just have a little stainless wire brush. You know, those cheapies they get in those packets for like Harbor Freight and, you know, just about any other place that's really cheap. And let's just put a little bit of WD-40 on there. And figure might as well go ahead and use WD-40 on this. What the heck? Because if any of this coating, original paint here is compromised and actually broken through, well, this will leave a film on that that'll help keep it from rusting and making it look worse over time. Just keep doing that, and this thing will be cleaned up and looking pretty good in no time. All right, got some batteries in it. So let's see if we can see anything at all and get in here at all. Bunch of spider webs. I don't know. Whole bunch of spider webs. We do know that this thing was sitting in a barn for a long time. Boy, there are a lot of spider webs in there.
What's that?
Looks like, I think that's one of the shelves. Shelves are probably dislodged. We know something's rattling around in here, but we don't know if it's just the shelves or if there's anything else in there.
Or if it's booty.
Yeah. You never know. I mean, the basic story behind this is a guy bought this house and the previous owners just left it in the house. Never took it with them. So there might not be anything in there. I don't think, I can't quite get in there. And it's in a town where everybody knows everybody, so you know they know it's all legit. Looks like we're not going to see anything, simply because we got the bottom shelf is just out of its slots and blocking everything, so we can't see anything beyond about a foot up. So, well, nice idea to try. So, yeah, we thought it'd be fun to look in here and see if we saw anything, but yeah, it was a bust. Now, when we do get the combination for this thing and do get it open, if we do find anything, maybe we'll report back about that at some point. But I'm not overly hopeful that there's really anything in there other than just loose shelves, but you never know. Now, my buddy does have a lot more stuff. It was just, this is what we got loaded before it started raining, and we're like, okay, we're done. Let's get out of here and get this thing home before it gets soaked. So yeah, there'll be more going on with him and all his scrapping stuff in the future. So if you like what we do here on this channel and you want to help support us, we do put links in the description for Amazon to things like the oil that we use here, hand cleaner, and various things like that. And when you click on the links in the description or use the QR codes that we'll put up here, probably on this side over here, we do get credit for that. It gives us a few bucks back here and there to help us keep this channel going.